Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review week 11 of the 2024-25 NBA Dream Team season, as well as previewing week 12. So this week was an okay week, 836 overall, or for the week, sorry, which actually saw us not move overall, stuck at 315 in the season ranks. But top 500 for the week, so a little bit down on our season rank for this week. It was a bit of a tricky week given a few games were postponed with the fires over there in LA, and obviously there's things more important than basketball. But I guess that they will get played eventually. So if you got those players, you probably hold on to them. In saying that, this week we had SGA scoring a 99, Daniels with a 51, so Anthony scored 87 on the bench, so it would have been nice to have his score on field. Wasn't to be. Devin Booker, one of our Phoenix trade-ins, taking advantage of their fixture, tore it up with 146. Champagne with a 40, and Mitchell actually got injured. I didn't pick this up. I don't know if he was a trade in this week or previously, but yeah, he's done for a good while, at least until April. So we'll move him on this week. Jokic is captain, only getting the 99. I forgot to check if he was one of the ones affected by the postponed games. He wasn't. He just didn't have his strongest week, but still made money, so going well. Tatum with the 79 was okay. Probably one. No, he just had 3 games. It's a little bit on the quiet side. Durant with 133. So the Phoenix guys doing the business for us. And even Dunn on the bench with the 68 would have been a handy play this week. Wembanyama with a 60, he definitely was one I remember that was affected. Just realised I'm on the wrong week. That might be why. Yeah, San Antonio. So their game against the Lakers was postponed, so I only got 2 cracks at it this week. Sarr 30, outscored by 37. So left a few points on the bench, but the plus side is it's generating some cash, which is pretty nice. In terms of head-to-head, so for week 11, so got a win over Pam's team, we'll call it. So 505. So LeBron James and Anthony Davis, obviously affected by those postponements. I think they only played the 1 game. And they're also on the injury list if I go to the LA Lakers. So expected to play in their first game tomorrow, but might be one just to keep an eye on. Steph Curry with a 47. SGA as captain was solid, 99. So it looks like really the big difference makers were those Phoenix assets I've brought in for this week. Elsewhere around the league, so Reno's Rockets with a 10-35, easily top score this week. So Edwards 98, Towns 116, Jokic Brunson 97, Maxey 111. It's his price at 15. So do we look at getting him in perhaps? Booker and Durant as well. So nice move there. As done on the bench. This is Johnson. Is he a cheapie? Looks like could be a bit of something. That's why it's hard to get to the fixtures. So definitely looks like a slow uptick compared to the start of the year. Nothing massive, but could be a useful number. And saying that, he has already gone up 2 mil. Might not have a lot more growth in him. But we'll have a look at the other players that did well this week. So Booker, number one. Zach Levine from the Bulls, a 140 this week. It's pretty handy. Durant with 133. Sabonis with a 128. Giannis 127. Cade Cunningham, Josh Hart, Towns 116. Westbrook with a 114 at 12 and a half. That's pretty tempting if he can continue that sort of form. Don't know if there's injuries at play in Denver. Let's just have a look. So not a lot of scores there. Don't know if he was recovering from injury, perhaps. Slowly getting him back into it. I'm not sure. But maybe an option there. And Derek Lively turning up at 12 mil as well. So at centre, it's a bit hard to justify bringing in. Beal with an even 100, one of the other Phoenix assets. They've only got, that was last week. They played 5 games this week, just the 3 for them. So we're not necessarily needing to keep all of them. The Jazz only have 2, and also Charlotte only have 2 scheduled. So if you've got any Hornets or Jazz assets, I'd recommend cashing out on them this week. But as you can see, a few teams on 4 games. You got the Nets, the Bulls, the Nuggets, Rockets, the 2 LA teams, assuming they're back up and running this week. Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota. So obviously, the likes of Giannis and Jokic, the Lakers guys. There's lots of great options this week. On the other end of things, the cheapie side. So in terms of break evens, so a couple of nice break evens this week. You've got Isaiah Collier, negative 24. Obviously plays at Utah, so probably won't have a massive projection this week. In fact, I'll go to projections because then you can see both. So you can see both. Yeah, so projected this week to only score 19. Cole Anthony with a negative 16, so he's going to make us a good bit of money this week if he does hit his projection of 48. Butler at Washington with a 42. That's all for 4 games, so about a 10-point average expected. Bryant, so cheap centre. We're not really in the market for one of them at the moment. Centre Bar, I don't know how to say that properly. Only projected at 24. Another Utah asset this week. Peyton, I'm pretty sure, is not in the squad at the moment. Crazy, I'm guessing is how you'd say that. Got some nice projections in the next couple of weeks. What's Atlanta got on the schedule? So 3 this week. So I guess hasn't been the most frequent in the squad, but has appeared fairly frequently over the last few rounds. Nothing else really jumps out. Maybe Hardaway Jr., 38 projected this week. So it says Detroit. Yeah, they only play 3. I was thinking that symbol was another team. That's why I was confused. So yes, I guess based on projections, if you haven't got Anthony, get him in. After that, probably Butler is the one I'm looking at this week. And then we'll go from there. So speaking of which, we'll probably do that first move straight away which is Mitchell out, go by break even, bring Butler in, nice and easy. So got a few Washington assets, which isn't ideal, but we can work with it, I think. So after that, he got us the points this week, but I think we can actually use Durant's money. So I'm going to trade Durant out. Booker's going to make some cash, so we'll keep him. Um, so I think what I'm thinking is we've got two options. We either look at, taking out a Champagne and looking at another one of these high-end point guards. So if I go by summary, so like a Brunson, or I guess if we go a little bit, go by this week rather. That's what I wanted. We could go a little bit cheaper and go like a Westbrook. They have the 4 games this week, which is pretty handy. So we could do that. And then I guess we would have to try and target another small forward. So the problem with that is we've got to go a fair way down the list. So I guess Miami have a good run this week, I think, 4 games. Isaac's pretty cheap. So if we were to go with, say, Isaac, we could potentially upgrade Westbrook. To like a Maxi or that sort of type player. I guess then the other thing, and this is something I guess I've been thinking about, is if we look at the overall, 4 of the top 5 are centres. Obviously, you only get one centre, but we do have the advantage of these guys being able to play at power forward as well. We've already got Wemby, who's actually number 8. So if you actually look at it, there's 6 of the top 8 players play in the power forward position. So I guess if we equate this to something along the lines of a, SuperCoach in NRL or AFL, where I guess in the NRL, for example, we have the fullbacks are the highest scoring position. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is if we move those guys back out, I'll push De Silva up. Actually, I'll put Champagne back in, trade Sarr out, and then I can flip players around as I need to. But essentially looking at hitting not one of these big guns. So we've got a few options. We've got Towns, Sabonis, Davis, and Giannis. I guess if we look short term, the Knicks and the Kings only have 3 games, whereas the Lakers and I've forgotten the Bucks do have 4 games this week. I guess the one thing that I'm thinking separates these 2 picks, obviously Davis is a little bit cheaper, which is nice as well. But because of the postponements, Davis will actually have more games to play in the coming weeks, which as a keeper, we want to take advantage of that those extra games that he'll have. So if I bring Davis in, it gives me 6.5k to spend on a cheapie. So if I just put Sarr out for a second, because Sarr could potentially just sit on the bench. So we've got Butler in for Mitchell. So after that, it's just a question of, who's the next one out, but maybe more so who's the next one in. We could just go with Collier, -24. He's not projected to score massive amount. If I go back to projections yet again, only 19, but could make us some money this week. Um, it's probably smarter to try and find someone who is playing this week, which again is why someone like the likes of Isaac is promising. We do already have a couple of assets there at Orlando, so what are they actually? They're only playing 3 this week, so if you can find someone playing 4, that would be ideal. Yeah, it's like even then, none of these prices are or projections are going to be that massive. I guess Jaquez Jr., who we looked at, went pretty well this week. Scored 97. Let's have a look how we got that. So, sort of started off okay and then just a bit flat in the middle. But then a couple of 30 pointers this round and 15s either side of that. Miami's got 4 games this week, which is pretty handy. So he might be the one that we target. So he's a small forward or a shooting guard. And so to get him in would cost us 10 mil. That's the problem. We don't really have that. Alright, so that's not an option. So I guess just having a look at, our keepers, SGA, Booker, Jokic, Tatum, Wemby, and now Davis. Daniels is doing a serviceable enough job as a starter. This is break even this week, 59. Projected 68, so he won't lose cash. So yeah, it really comes down to, I guess, one of these guys. De Silva's making money, I'm pretty sure. Oh, negative 34 break even. So 76 break even. So it's probably tapped out. So I think we'll try and use SAR's money because, whoever's here is probably not going to play anyway. So it can be a power forward. It can be, anyone going back. Just price it out of Isaac, thinking of FPL there. Guy Santos, not projected massively this week. Let's go with some filters maybe. Players I can afford and projected. So Jalen Williams projected 49 this week is pretty nice. I guess OKC got 4 games. I think also the likes of Holgram out is probably an advantage. It says he's due back next month. I was thinking the 10th this month. So I guess something like that bodes well. So maybe we'll play him. We'll see how it goes. So complete those trades. Obviously want to get Davis on field. So yeah, so in terms of our keepers, we're actually sitting pretty well this week. I think I've already gone through a lot of it, but Denver's got 4 games, OKC's got 4, Spurs have got 4, Boston only have 3. So Tatum's probably not in the captaincy conversation. LA has 4. Phoenix only have 3. So there's a few shouts for captain, vice captain this week. Despite the down week, I think we stick fat with Jokic as captain. And then toss up really between SGA and Wemby. Just having a look. Looks like Wemby does play a game tomorrow afternoon, which would be the first chance to have a look at anyone against LA. So I guess we could include Davis in this conversation as well. So maybe just the home fixture. We've brought him in, so we'll put him VC. I usually don't look at it that closely, so I probably will just be Jokic as captain. But creeping ever closer to that sort of fully finished team. Especially if we can get some cash out of these guys. How's Edie going? He's sort of starting to struggle a bit too for cash gen, but he did have some injuries, didn't he? So I had a good week in week 9, 10, sort of faded off again. I think he'll kick again. We'll keep him around. Yeah, so that's the team going into week 12. See if I can fit everyone in. Not really. But as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below the video. Give us a thumbs up if you do enjoy the NBA content. Subscribe for the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.